Right, well, anyway, so there's three of us here at this table. This is my voice. My name's Tom.
What do you do, Tom?
I'm, in this situation, I'm the everyman, the handsome everyman. Yeah. And I'm joined by two other people who are more...
handsome.
Yeah, nice.
Well, that'll be a lie, and I can't lie to our, people.
You cannot tell a lie.
Listener. I'll paint a picture for you here. There's two other people at the table with me. There's Laurence, who's... If I said the words ginger Welshman, it wouldn't paint an accurate... You'd think of something else. It's not quite that. It's, when I say those things, it makes me think of a little, Gimli. But it's not that. Laurence is a very tall, strapping, handsome Welsh, chap. Big boy.
I'll leave hello.
Yeah. And then there's also Jack here, who's again a handsome, slim. What are you?
I'm not ginger though. There's nothing wrong with being ginger. I'll say that. Yeah. But I've got a ginger beard. I reckon you've got just as much ginger in your beard.
I was going to say, I'd be careful because you're sitting in similar boats.
Bronze
beard.
Yeah, that's right. Copper. Nice. Viking copper.
Nice.
Is how I describe it. And well, that's it. There's these two people are talking about interesting stuff, and I'm here being rude about it. So that's
so essentially
what's going to happen.
Nice. Well, let's start quickly actually, because I've been looking forward to doing this for a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. A very important day tomorrow in all our lives, because Sunday, we're intrinsically linked as a group of people. Our very own Laurence is competing in the British Open Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. At what, brown belt?
Yep.
At brown belt, and at what is it, heavyweight or super?
Super heavy.
Super heavyweight. It's because he's fat. He's so fat. Jeez.
It's like heavyweight, but
super. But super.
Super.
God, these cryptic names. Yeah. So, how are you feeling about that? You've been training hard. I saw you were a sweaty mess at the academy.
I died
the other day.
On Thursday. Absolutely
looking
died
good.
On Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
about an hour. So how do we start off? So you're paired up with two people, and then so you'll start on the bottom in side control for a minute. Then another person will come on top for a minute, and then you'll do that like 2 or 3 times, but you're always in the middle. And then
I think they call that Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, is that what it's called?
Yep, so it's like a kumite in karate or something, is that one person is basically consistently fighting, but the other people are taking breaks, so they're switching.
Sure. I've done this in real life.
Yeah. It's what happens if you're getting beaten up by multiple people, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really tough.
And then we're free sparring after that. So it's about an hour flat out.
What's free sparring? How does that?
Free sparring is a bit more spiritual. We get incense sticks out and stuff.
Smoke some banana skins.
Free sparring is just... So you have specific sparring, which you start from a certain position and you work towards a goal, like a sweep or passing the guard, getting on top. Yeah. Free sparring, you just keep sparring until for a time.
Sure.
And then you're going to stop.
Free sparring is more like a real competition, so you can do anything. Yeah. Anything that arises is what you'll go for. Sure. Whereas specific sparring, if you're told you can only win by armbar, even if they're giving you their neck, you're not going to go for that because you can't win, so you've got to go for that armbar, and it's difficult because you know what the other person's going for. Yeah. So defending is reasonably easy. And
you got your first stripe as well this week.
Yeah, we'll come on to that. Let's talk about you. Let's
talk about me first.
Let's talk about you,
What you said about, am I feeling confident?
What have you been doing? What kind of thing goes through your mind before this? I know we talked about it a little bit, but now it's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's exciting.
You're there. You're in that zone, right? You're thinking about it. Gonna get pissed tonight?
You're gonna get smashed. You could cook up some heroin and just as a relaxant. As a relaxant is what I'm thinking.
Make you more supple.
You're joking. So there's no booze for what? How long before? Will you drink tonight?
I have a glass of red wine, glass and a half of red wine or something, but I eat well. But I don't generally drink that much anyway, or eat that bad food anyway, so it's not much of a change. I have done one competition slightly hungover, actually, my very first competition.
Wow. Week?
Did you do well?
Well, I actually did win. I did win.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Like the anti-lesson.
I feel like I'm floppy, like, you know, all weak, much weaker.
Yeah, you do. Sometimes you hit it. But I think, you know,
Adrenaline.
I think if I go right, I'm going to eat all the exact right foods today. I'm not going to touch any alcohol, any coffee or anything. Be really strict about it. You start to put a bit of pressure on yourself. In reality, 1 or 2 glasses of wine the night before is not going to affect your performance. It's not going to affect your cardio. I don't think so.
You know, and if you're on the street, you know, like things can happen at any time. So you just got to be ready. You know, you got to be able to fight. You know, when you're drunk. Yeah, that's why. In fact, that's why I practice all my fighting when I'm drunk. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. You can go.
I get ready.
Yeah, you can't go. Sorry. I
had a beer last night.
I had a beer last night. Can we reschedule this? For tomorrow. Yeah. I think if you get too strict with it, you put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
And you can worry about it too much. And I put a lot more pressure on myself. I think a purple belt than I have. I've done one competition, a brown belt, and another one tomorrow.
So are we going for more than 20 seconds in this tournament? Because that would be.
I think it was about a minute 20 seconds the last fight. You've got to give me a minute.
I mean, what, from stepping on the mat? Or from?
I mean, arriving at the venue, warming up, actually getting on the mat and losing at least a minute.
Well, do you know what it is? It seems to be, if I'm there watching, you don't do very well. If I'm not there, you get gold medals. And I'm not going to be there tomorrow, so it should be a win.
It's an omen.
Yeah.
Good.
It's because I know you get nervous when I'm around.
Yeah, a lot of
well,
pressure.
that's because you're generally brandishing an erection. It's off-putting.
Well, there's a lot of men rolling around together, man. It's difficult. I don't know where to look.
Poking it through your gi.
And that's why I wear a thick gi.
Where is it?
Birmingham.
What happens?
For fuck's sake.
Well, I know that's a bit long. That's why I'm not going.
It's about an hour and a half.
I thought it was if it was in the judo place. Where was that? In Dartford. That I'd have gone to that.
It's in the NEC, which sounds really strange when you say the NEC.
Oh my god, it's the Body Power Expo, isn't it?
So it's quite interesting. So you have the Body Power Expo. They have like all these different martial arts there.
Yeah, no. I saw pictures. I remember just seeing pictures of you had like a mandate with a few people. Looked like the weirdest day of my life. I was not enjoying.
Like bodybuilders there, all these health and nutrition stands, and 80-90% of it is shit. To be honest, but it's quite funny actually seeing the type of people that you get there, and then you've got all these.
What? I want to hear what you have to say about it.
No, I'd say 70% is shit.
Yeah. What's good?
Okay.
What's good then?
Well, there are on the outskirts, which is odd. So the places with like the less money on the outskirts, not the centre of these things, are actually companies that make good products for gyms and for personal trainers. The ones in the middle are the rich ones that are just trying to sell you different protein powders with different labels that do nothing. Yeah. But they are the ones that have all the money and sponsor the big guys. Yeah. So you've got tomorrow.
I imagine there's a lot of tits.
Loads, but really muscular ones. There's a lot of muscular boobies. But like tomorrow, Jay Cutler's going to be there. Yeah. Phil Heath is going to be there.
I have no idea what Phil Heath is.
So Phil Heath is the current Mr. Olympia. Jay Cutler is like the most famous at Mr. Olympia apart from Arnie. But he's more successful than Arnie. Way bigger than Arnie ever was. And then you've got like a lot of other kind of big guys there. But on the outskirts, you've got people selling like good products, good gym equipment, good functional stuff. So you've got like the bats that everyone's talking about. You know, they're like the maces.
Indian clubs.
Yeah, so clubs and kettlebells and courses and stuff like that. But it's just in the middle. You've got the real muscly, super huge, super riddled with stuff allegedly. Yeah. Like. Wearing thongs, and then you've got the kind of mid-range people that really want to be involved in it. So you just get these dudes and a lot like people from like all over the UK and stuff, any northerners, turning up, and they will walk around bronzed up. They're not professionals, right? They've turned up, they've bought tickets to go there, but they're going to walk around bronzed up, just in tiny shorts. Yeah, you know, and they walk around all day because they want to get discovered.
I want to touch their balls. That's what I want to do. I want to see what they're like.
Not good.
I haven't seen pictures of that. Do we talk about?
I've got pictures. I've got pictures. I've got pictures.
And you have the
not steroid balls.
That's what I mean. And they have bodybuilding contests there as well. So you see the natural bodybuilders. And I walked past. There's a similar one in the XL in London. I think maybe they alternate every other year. I don't know how it
That's
works.
always in the Birmingham.
Okay, but then there's a different event which had a jiu-jitsu competition on there as well.
Sure.
And you walk past and you see all these guys in bleach blonde hair,
Bad tattoos.
shave test.
Yeah, a lot of bad
What
tattoos.
tribe do you belong to?
Yeah,
Do you speak Maori?
a lot of that. And they're in pink speedos and stuff, and you
Yeah.
walk past and you just can't just piss yourself laughing.
I do
It's not
remember last year, because that was when I was first starting out in that kind of interest and studying in the health industry. So I went, and there are some good things, because there's a lot of seminars, and the seminars are really interesting. So some of the people that do the seminars are like the leading sports nutritionists in the UK.
Yeah.
You sit down and you listen to like 40 minutes, and this guy, will know everything, and he'll go into like real specific questions.
Sure.
And it's good to go to these seminars. That's how you learn. That's how you become better at your job, and or just more knowledgeable about health and stuff. There is then that side of just the beefcake area, and I think it was the first time last year that they put the BJJ open with this bodybuilding thing.
Yeah.
And so I went and saw Laurence and sat down with his team and was surrounded by killers. Like they're very good black belts, and there was Roger Gracie was walking around a bit, I think, or he had they had some.
Braulio Steamer was
Braulio Steamer was there.
Steamer,
I mean, these guys are like the Ronaldos, and these guys are murderers, and they're trying to get, a lot of them are trying to get into like UFC, and some of them are in the UFC.
Yeah.
They're taking no prisoners.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there, and they was like, "Hey mate, I can't look at these gays." They're just calling all the bodybuilders gays and stuff. And I was just thinking, if there's a group of people that can get away with it, it's these guys.
Yeah.
Like these guys who actually they're not just trying to be big, but they've learned to use their strength in an offensive and defensive way. Whereas these guys are just good at picking up heavy stuff. Yeah. And nutrition, to the point where they're the best at it.
Yeah.
But what other application does that have apart from being good in the gym? Whereas you've got all these martial artists who are strong and great with nutrition and will kill you.
When you say there's good stuff there, you're able to cut through the bullshit, because you kind of know what's good and what's bad, and we kind of term in bad that it's not really, like you say, what application does it have apart from being getting huge.
Yeah.
And I think that's a reflection of the health and fitness industry in general. There's so much stuff out there that unless there's a lot of bullshit to cut through to get to actually not so much what works. It all works for its purpose, but if you want to just be generally healthy, in a good shape, longevity, that kind of stuff, then it's hard to cut through a lot of that.
But then also it is essentially called the Body Power Expo, so you know what's going to be there. But it was fun. I really liked it. I got loads of free stuff. We got some good food there.
Like what free stuff?
Like, well, good free stuff for me. So like, protein shakers, some protein bars, stuff like that.
Exciting weekend.
Yeah, it is exciting for me, man.
Banana hammocks.
But not loads. They just ping them out. Yeah. Some used, some
brown
not.
Ding.
I'm taking the piss a little, but it's nice to actually.
No, you're right. It's awful. It's essentially it's just everyone with the same powder, rebranding it and lying a lot.
Yeah.
You could be like me. No, I can't be like you, because you are the 0.1% of humans that can achieve that size, and you had the willpower to get there, and you've put the time in, and someone has sponsored you through it, because you don't have a job, because someone's found you. It's incredibly lucky. It's like acting, or it's like being a musician. There are there must be thousands of musicians that could well be amazing, that I could love, but they've never had the opportunity to get out there, or there's an element of luck to a lot of things.
Do you think people form unrealistic goals because of that?
Yes,
and then
massively.
Kind of demotivate themselves.
I know personally. I know quite a few people that. Our friend, who I'm about to talk. He lives down the road from here, and you've probably met him. I won't say any names, but he has a similar build to me, but is a bit shorter.
Yeah.
And he reads like Muscle Mag and has protein and creatine and stuff like that. Not so much anymore, but especially last year, before he kind of clued up a bit more. and he just wanted to be massive. Actually, we've got a couple of friends who, you just say, what do you want to be? What do you want out of your gym time? I want to be massive, as big as I can be. Massive. Why? Because. And that's kind of it, because.
Where do you think it comes from?
Well, it's like anorexia, though, isn't it? It's the same.
It's exactly the same.
It
forms at the same time.
Yeah.
It's unrealistic. But all of those men.
Films.
When I see this people, I just think there's something wrong with them. It's like the women who have enormous, they have massive fake tits and they're stick thin. It doesn't look right if you're that big. It looks weird. And there's such a tiny amount of people that find that attractive. Like so few women will find that attractive. Maybe some women, whatever, they'll find that hot as an idea for a second, but no one wants to be with that. First of all, the men are infertile because they've got tiny balls. But secondarily, it's like it's just the same thing. Like girls want to be skinny, but guys don't really generally like skinny girls. Do you know what I mean? It's that same thing. It's like men doing it for men. Men get massive because they want to scare off other men, and it's normally something a bit.
It's that unrealistic body image. You look at The Rock. Okay, Dwayne Johnson right now. I follow him and I like him. I really like Dwayne Johnson. And he trains hard.
May I just interject really quickly? Did you see? I saw a picture of him recently. It must have been tweeted really recently with him with Shaq and someone else. He looks small. It looks
Shaq O'Neal is one. But Shaq O'Neal's a giant, though, right?
Yeah,
he is an actual giant.
Yeah, he is a giant.
Yeah.
So that's just a side note on giants. Andre the Giant. I told you this, right? Andre the Giant used to consume up to 7,000 calories of alcohol a day.
Of alcohol.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Legend.
And how old was he when he died? About 42.
Yeah, but he had something. He
got too big. Right? He blew up, I think. He had a large crater.
He had a thyroid or whatever. He had something.
Kept eating thyroids. That is it. Just ate loads of thyroids.
The 7,000 calories alcohol a day couldn't have helped. But Andre the Giant, he must have had some
massive
strength. So
hands and stuff like that. Yeah,
I was gonna say Willy,
but probably as well. He's that big.
But that's
freak strength, I reckon.
Yeah,
but he's one of those guys. Probably
weight moves weight. I know, weight moves weight. Essentially, like you're not gonna get. That's why you judge things on pound for pound for strength, right?
Yeah.
So it's not saying if you move 70 kilos bench press, you are strong. Because if you're a 140 kilo man, that's really weak. Mm-hmm. Even if that 140 kilos is a lot of fat.
You have the intrinsic problem that you can't have humans over a certain size because the bones can't get strong enough. So you get to a point where you get really big, and then there's a peak where you're just weak. Whatever that size. I mean, there comes a point where if you get massive, it's putting strain on his bones, his body, his joints, everything.
You can stop that by. If you're getting big because of training,
your bones can't get strong enough. That's the point.
Yeah, but I mean, weight training does increase bone density.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does do that. That's why it's good. It's a good form to prevent things like osteoporosis and stuff like that. That's why women should lift weights.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going back to Dwayne Johnson just because he's a hero.
Yeah, he's nice. He's a nice
but
man.
he's big. He was naturally a big man. He's naturally athletic, and if you look at him maybe 3 years ago, you'd say, "Wow, that is a big guy."
Yeah.
If you look at him now, he's about 4 times the size that he was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He's huge at the moment.
Yeah.
Because of
his shoulders the size of your head. Probably bigger than your head.
Yeah, and I've got a big head, but it's it's I don't know. And now you look at him and you're like, wow, like that is. That's impressive.
Didn't he do
a couple of roles? That Pain and Gain film and Fast and Furious 25,
which is he filmed in London.
I think so. Yeah.
Really?
Some guys were trying to break into a car near the set where he was recording it. He's in his SWAT gear.
Yeah.
But like the film SWAT gear, so SWAT gear with no shoulders, the tank top SWAT gear that as long as they'll shoot for the middle of your chest, you're fine.
Yeah.
And he stopped them, and how scared he started running at them or something.
Yeah.
And how scared would you be? Like you're a little thief. You turn around. The actual Rock is in SWAT gear in London, and he's steaming towards you.
Yeah. He must have loved that.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. But so we're coming back to like the body image kind of thing.
Yeah.
You do get it. I feel bad. I'm not in bad shape. I'm in good shape. Cardio's good. My strength pound for pound is good. It's well above average. You know, I move quite a lot. Legs are strong at the moment and stuff like that. And I've got a pretty good physique. I'm like 11% body fat, maybe 11.5%, which is, you know, good.
Yeah.
I can get lower than that, but I like bagels at the moment. Yeah, I'm not training to be anything, and I do tend to actually lose a bit of strength if I try and cut down too much. But I do feel weird because I'm surrounded in, you know, my peers are people who've been in the industry for a lot longer than me.
Where you working?
Yeah, and some of these guys are ripped and huge, and some of them have said, well, it's only happened in the last year, and I've been a trainer for 10 years because, you know, stuff like that. But I get a bit self-conscious. I'm a bit like, I should get a bit bigger.
Yeah,
you know, and actually going all the way back, a lot of my female clients, they've said that they feel more comfortable with me because I'm a normal athletic shape than some of the big trainers that are men. They say, well, I don't think I'd go with them because it seems like they wouldn't understand what I'd want out of health and fitness, because they seem to be just, I want to be big, even though that they do, and they're actually very good at their jobs.
Yeah, sure.
It's an image thing.
But bulking up is, I've done it in the past, playing rugby, and, you know, done it recently just to kind of get to a top of a weight category. After a point, it just gets boring, and you kind of think to yourself,
what do you do when you're doing that?
Well, it's just you change your resistance training slightly, so it's all about time under tension. So, you know, you rep.
Explain that.
So you can do. I could do a pull up, for example, and just go up, down, you know, 1 second up, 1 second down. That's a pull up, and I do 20, 25 or whatever. And that's going to be hard work, and it's good, and it's, you know, good strength work. Time under tension is all about so you would do 5 seconds up and then 5 seconds down, and all really slow and controlled, so the muscle is always under tension, and it's that time under tension that forces the muscle to adapt and to grow. And then the other thing you would change is your diet. You know, so you need to just eat more. You need to have excess calories.
It gets tough.
If
you want lean mass, I mean, when you're going for like rugby, you guys were going for bulk. Yeah. And you weren't too fast. I mean, obviously you've got to be, because I remember it was a varsity match. You guys were just eating so much. All of you. You took like breaks every half an hour. Well, you know, that was when we were all really unhealthy. A long time ago, and I don't advocate what we did. But, you know, we'd go for cigarette breaks, and you go and eat, you know, like a tub of like pumpkin seeds, and then the next time you'd just be having some peanut butter and some nuts and some almonds, and we'd just be like, and every time we went for a cigarette break, you'd use that time, and then you'd be like, well, I want a break, and then you'd go and eat something, and just be like, you know, you'd eat more. You'd eat more because we were students than we'd eat in a week in like a 8-hour shift or something. Yeah,
it gets boring. You get, I think, what did I get to, over 103, 104 kilos, and you're like, it's 10 o'clock at night, and you think, oh, I need to have another chicken sandwich. So you make it up, and you're forcing yourself to eat. And then, you know, aside from that, if your goal is to always get bigger, where do you stop? How far can you go? If your goal is more athletic performance, so just mobility and general health, then those improvements, there's no real limit to that, I suppose. Well, maybe there's a limit to how fast you can run and how high you can jump and stuff, but trying to push those boundaries, I don't know, it doesn't conflict with kind of, you know, the health and your day-to-day life. After a while, for me anyway, for some people clearly it doesn't get boring after a while. You do for like 6 weeks.
It becomes a job, right? Because I was doing that when I was doing a slow carb diet, which is quite specific, you know, when you can and can't eat starchy complex carbohydrates and stuff, which are calorie dense food. I wanted to do that to try and cut a bit of body fat, because I'd just come off some medication that reallocated body fat to all the places you don't want it, so I was a bit concerned. So that's when huge loads of
chubby
weight
balls.
But I wanted to keep up 3,000 calories because I also needed to put some muscle back on. And that was really difficult. If you complex carbohydrates are so calorie dense, when you remove them, if you're trying to get a high calorie diet from fresh meats, when I say fresh, I mean like unbreaded, unbattered, you know, like
How
modified.
can anyone think butter is?
Well, you know what I mean. Well,
Yeah.
mate, you'd be absolutely surprised.
Yeah,
Scotland. You'd be surprised that what you think is really simple nutritional knowledge.
Yeah.
I'd say more. Well, if you look at the obese
Cereal
rating
bars.
here,
Yeah.
right? Cereal.
Yeah.
Cereal
in general.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Waste of time. Biggest waste of space ever. Ever. No other like cultures have cereal for breakfast. You go to Asia and they will have the same kind of thing that they'd have for dinner. Yeah, they'd have
that's
for,
exactly right. Have a similar food or slightly
similar
different.
foods. Yeah, but it would. There's no.
It's good breakfast. In general.
Yeah, it's lovely, right? And it's the same in like if you go to kind of if you go to Africa or you go to they have similar foods that they'd have all the day. They're nutritious. They'd have some meats. They'd have some vegetables. They have stuff that actually puts nutrition into your body. What nutrition? Bran flakes. Here's my favourite. Bran flakes. Ask someone why they're eating bran flakes, and they say one word because it's the only word that they know why they're eating. Fibre.
Yeah.
Right. Eat a banana. You will have twice as much fibre in a banana as you will in the in a bran flake bowl of bran flakes. And guess what? That's all that you're having that cereal for is that fibre because there's nothing else in it. Whereas a banana's got potassium. It's got bananas will make you feel 5 times better than any cereal.
A lot of salt in it. I think the only exception would be porridge.
Yeah, but that's not really a cereal. It's like you get an oats in there and then you can put stuff in it. That's you can do porridge. That's fine.
Or if you are going to make.
Yeah, there's an argument for Weetabix.
Why is it? What's the argument for?
Well, I mean, it's leaning on the kind of porridgey side.
Yeah, and granola.
If it's homemade, otherwise you get a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. If you like that kind of meal in the morning with milk and with whatever, make your own granola. Get some porridge or some nuts and seeds, roast them, and then have that with a bit of the honey, milk, yogurt,
chuck a banana in it,
a bit of berry, and that's then a really good breakfast.
Yeah. Because there's nutrition. And it's got stuff that your body can feed off of.
Yeah.
When you have a bowl of cornflakes or a bowl of bran flakes, you think, well, it's nice, it's light, it's healthy.
Yeah.
And then about an hour later, you'll be like, I'm hungry, and you'll snack. Especially if you're in an office, because you'll think, God, I'm hungry. What's around? Well, I can't really leave to go and get lunch. It's not lunchtime. I'll have a biscuit.
Yeah.
And that biscuit might be 2 biscuits then, or a biscuit and Jaffa cake and something else. And I've been in office situations. You do that, and because you're bored as well, or a chocolate bar because there's a vending machine, or a packet of crisps because that's in the vending machine.
Or Talis. That's the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And then you think. Then you think, what shall I have for lunch? And you have a really nice healthy lunch. And that healthy lunch might then be a packet of crisps with a sandwich. And then you have that, and then a couple of hours later you're hungry again because what was there much? Because you'll have a small sandwich, right? You'll have a small sandwich of you'll be like tuna and sweet corn, or tuna and cucumber sandwiches because they're cheap. They might be on brown bread, so you're thinking awesome. You have that. It's got 230 calories because you know that calories make you fat.
Yeah.
So you have a small that, and then you're hungry again in another 2 hours. So you have another biscuit, some more crisps, can of Coke, because you're also dipping. Because you've got no energy, you've got no sustenance, and that stems from having a shit breakfast. Because then you're working on nothing for the whole day. It's crazy, and then you get a lot of people saying, so why do I think that it's a good breakfast? It's because Kellogg's told you it's a good breakfast.
Yeah,
because guess what?
100 years of advertising.
Yeah, it's because guess what? It's because Kellogg's sell the bloody stuff. It's
cereal has to be the worst one. I think a lot of people are cottoning on to sports drinks.
Yeah.
People are cottoning on.
I thought about that when you said that last week about Lucozade being in the. It's moved. It's not in. It's not in the healthy section.
People.
You're not allowed to.
People are twigging on to stuff like that. But like you said, Kellogg's has been around for 100 years, maybe even longer.
Multi-billion
it's so embedded in the British culture, Western culture. It's quite a British thing, isn't it? I'm not sure whether.
No, man, America.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Kellogg's is American.
Let's say the Western culture, that it's almost. I reckon you get quite a lot of resistance and quite a lot of negative resistance if you try to attack cereal as an unhealthy food.
I will tell you exactly what will happen. I would tell you exactly what will happen if and when and because
there'll be a revolution.
No, they really won't. There won't be. Okay, it's exactly like it's the corn industry. Okay, I don't know if anyone has seen anything on
Monsanto's?
corn on the production of corn. Yeah, that's part of it. But the production of corn as
the band.
So yeah, as what was it in
Corn with a
the
K.
50s?
Yeah.
In the 50s is when America decided to try and kind of make farms big businesses. Okay, so one of the big things was cornfields. They wanted more corn, so they paid these farmers to plant corn as their main crop
and mass produce it.
Yep. So there was loads and loads of corn. Tons and tons of corn is being created. So that's when we then find out that it was profitable to make corn syrup because there was a lot of.
Well, they had the excess. They weren't sure what to do with it. They were feeding it to cattle, and then there was a Japanese guy that created might not be the right word, but extracted fructose corn syrup from the corn.
So that's when then later on down the line, that's when the fructose corn syrup then gets intrinsically linked with the sugar industry. The sugar industry being one of the most. God, I'm not going to slander it, but it's a very.
I think you should.
Okay, it's one of the most evil businesses around, really,
well,
because
do you know
there's but just because of
pharmaceuticals.
sure
Yeah.
Okay, there's but sugar's up there, and sugar the sugar companies have lobbied America, okay, and this is
a report came out in about 1975 in the US where they started seeing the changes in people's like health and obesity. I'm going to say 1975 is around that time, and so the president said we need to do a big report, look into it all, and they came out and the report said sugar and fat are really bad for you. You need to cut that out. The sugar industry went batshit crazy and said you can't say this about sugar. It's not sugar, it's fat, and they took it out of the report. And that's when low fat meals came into play and full of sugar.
But they have this control on whether or not that can go in because they pay. Because of the way in which the American elections are run, and America needs tons of money from sponsors. So that's why you get oil companies, sugar companies, and pharmaceutical companies sponsoring presidents.
Same in the UK.
Yeah, but they do it on a much larger scale, a much big, and then suddenly Obama might turn around and say, sugar's bad. We're gonna say that we can't have this amount of sugar. We can't sell this amount of sugar, or whatever. Or we're gonna put a tax on sugar. Sugar companies just remind them, whisper them into the ear, you owe us $25 million or probably $1 billion or something like that. How about you don't say that, or we'll pull all of this funding out of your, this, that, and the other. You'll owe us this. We'll bankrupt you or something, and then it doesn't happen. So
and it's also they're so embedded in the economy in these countries, what they contribute, and all the people, all the jobs they would provide, etc., etc. That then to move away from that, you've got to be pretty brave, and you can't just pull the plug.
You have to have like another bit of funding. They have to, before government will withdraw support from one big, let's say, tobacco companies. They have to find, which they've done. Tobacco companies have much less power in America. That money comes from other places, just increases the power in other places. So, just leave it as it is.
It's just about educating. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you think eating a Krispy Kreme donut is good for you,
it is in some ways.
Yeah. Right.
This is one of the things that
we could have a full.
I think we could go off on this one, but it's.
Other foods that are perceived to be healthy and they're not.
Oh man, but you know what? You could be really nitpicky and get a lot of things. Whole grains.
Yeah.
You can live without whole grains. In fact, your body can't really break down grain or wheat at all. So when you've got, we'll go back to cereals, but when you've got things that say like, full of whole grain goodness, good for your heart, you're like, well, actually, it's probably better for your heart not to have that at all.
and people think that's your only source of fibre, don't they? And I think with dairy as well, they think, oh, if you don't drink milk, you're not going to get calcium. Green leafy vegetables replaces both the fibre and
I stopped drinking milk.
Full of calcium.
But you never liked milk.
I stopped drinking milk when I was about 4.
Yeah.
And I don't have any bone structure problems. In fact, I've never had a filling, never had braces.
You haven't drunk milk since you were 4?
No,
really.
I only really introduced milk again into my diet when I started to drink coffee, which was about a year ago. And that's because I like a cappuccino.
And it's a very small amount. Well, cappuccino, it's not.
But that's
But a lot of people, dairy is a funny thing. A lot of people, some studies say that most people are somewhat lactose intolerant. That's not really that healthy for us for most of our lives. Some people like it. I think that's just something which differs from person to person.
Yeah, but you can live without milk.
Yeah, of course.
You can live without too much
anything.
fruit.
There's those kids, if you read in the Sun, there's kids that they've lived their whole life on jam sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah.
Fine.
They're
fine.
That's what people say. Is I drink milk all the time. I eat grains. I'm fine. It doesn't bother me. It's not until you pull it out of your diet for 30 days because they've never not had it in the diet, then you realise the difference. So they just their baseline is somewhere it's normal for them.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for them. So if they pull it out and then put it back in, you do notice a difference.
What happens is that your immune system gets so beaten down, and when I say your immune system, I don't mean your entire immune system, but your immunity to that.
Yeah.
So your immunity to, say you are slightly lactose intolerant, but you don't really know it, or actually like a friend of mine who I am helping with her diet at the moment.
Sure.
She is lactose intolerant and wheat intolerant, and her diet was primarily wheat and dairy. And she could function. She wasn't dying. She functioned at a high rate, and she's got a high pressure job, and she works really long hours, and she could do all of that. I mean, she didn't feel top of her game and whatever. And we took those out of her diet, and she felt loads better. She started to have energy. She was feeling happier. She then ate a pizza about 2 weeks after not having anything. She ate a pizza which had dairy and wheat in it, and she felt awful. And and she was really worried, and she was just like, so what's wrong? And what's happened is that you've given your body time to get all of that out of its system. It's then your immune system, your immunity and your immune system towards that has just recuperated. And it will fight against it, and it will tell your body, we don't want this in it. But because it was so beaten down, because you were consistently bombarding it with those bad things, it wasn't being able to act at all. So you don't get the violent reaction, but you're constantly not performing very well.
I also want I've had hay fever for like 15 years. Pretty bad.
That must suck.
It really sucks ass. But the hay fever season has kicked off, and I've been speaking to people and said, my hay fever is really bad. Like, touch wood. I've not got anything yet. But I wonder if that's because I pulled out wheat, grain and dairy in my diet now. I wonder if it's going to be a lot better actually
I think it's because the pollen can't get past your ginger beard.
My ginger beard. It's like no, I had it last summer. I had the beard last summer, a little pollen filter. Just growing up and kind of curl it over my nostrils.
But I always feel like when I was a kid, I ate absolutely terribly. I see, checking it out. Absolutely terribly. I was, a fussy kid, right? That was what I was. I'd have. When I was a kid, I used to get
only want bacon.
I used to get delivery pizza. I'd say could have no tomato. Like, imagine that. Like that. That was horrible. And it was until I was about 8, I slowly started to introduce...
Man up.
And just introduce more and more foods, and I would say I eat everything now. I've had everything. I've had monkey brains. I've had everything, mate. I eat everything.
Monkey brains.
I've had monkey brains.
Like it's normal.
I've had everything.
But you lived in China, man.
I've had even everything.
Was it a live monkey with his
head
in
just like Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Skin it in a headlock.
Seriously, have you done that?
I've had monkey.
But have you seen that?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, that's why I've seen that.
It must be true then. Anyway, sorry.
But I've eaten lots of weird shit, bullfrog, stuff like that. But it took a long time. But I do feel better, but not really. I wouldn't notice it. My body was just used to that. I think it's like you have all these nutritious things you need, or whatever, you need pomegranate or all these things, and it's like, or even most things, any you know, throughout most of history, most people haven't had most foods, however, and you can. Well, they said that you can live indefinitely on potatoes and butter. You can survive forever on that.
Yeah.
And obviously,
What we're saying is that if you want the best out of yourself,
I understand.
So I always talk to clients or just people that want advice. Just, you know, if we don't want to go really specifically into diets, when someone just generally says, when you say you're a personal trainer in any situation, people often turn around and go, how do I lose my belly? I want to lose belly fat. And you say, well, it's about your diet, and then most people go, you know, they actually want you to say, if you do a sit-up for 2 hours,
not even that.
If you do 10 sit-ups in this special super secret way, it just falls off you. You know, that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear that.
And that's
you
what
have
that
to change the way that
bodybuilding
you eat.
exposed. Everybody there is going there. They think, if I learn the technique, if I just do my,
I'm going to ask
right,
Jay Cutler one question. How do you get big? And Jay Cutler's just going to say, eat.
Actually,
That's why he was just like, eat more, or work out harder, lift something. He will tell you. Jay Cutler will tell you how to micromanage nutrition down to a point that not many people can do. But he won't bother because you won't do it, and he's not making any money out of it.
But also, everybody knows what they have to do to be healthy. You have to eat better and do exercise.
Well,
everybody knows
that's
it.
the first thing I ask people is when they go, how do you lose belly fat? I go, you tell me. How do you lose belly fat?
It's the same. How do you get good at your job? How do you get rich? You
work at it properly
for ages.
and take an interest in it.
Consistency, isn't it? With any, it's like with success in anything, whether it's your job, jiu-jitsu, you know, nutrition, you know,
League of Legends.
Let's take playing the guitar as an example. I think we've all played or play the guitar here. You don't just get good by going, right, I'm going to learn the solo to Hey Joe, or kind of all along the Watchtower. It's practice. It's consistent over and over practice, and knowing what
10,000 hours.
It's knowing what you need to do, and then doing it consistently. And it's like, so you can say people often know what they need to do, they just don't apply the consistency to it.
And like example of a guitar is a good one, because you could have have a guitar teacher and they could say, try this thing, try this exercise, and that could really help you. That could show you an area where you're lacking. That could show you your hand movements or whatever, or it could show you how to do licks properly. But most of it is hard work. It's just that. It's just the work.
Everything's hard work. If something
it's bullshit. Where's the future?
Every time I go to the academy and I have a role, I enjoy every part of it.
I bet you do.
Apart from when they make you run around with someone on your back and you have to do squats, because I do that all the time.
Or the bit in the shower where Peter washes your wig.
Yeah. Well, he's thorough. But I enjoy it, and you get choked out, you get armbarred, you're not the best. There's always a bigger guy. There's always, you have to learn. Sometimes you can have a bad lesson because you just don't get it. That's the most frustrating. You just don't get it, and everyone else around you is getting it. Like they're doing.
Sorry, quick. All of this
I know.
I'm sorry. But when you do get it.
But then
and then when you do get it, what happens?
But you have loads of fun, and and then you get a stripe on your belt.
But it's a good point. Is that when you do when you do get it, when you do achieve it, with Steve Jiu-Jitsu as an example, when you do figure out a move and you go, right, now it clicks. Part of that happiness and satisfaction is because you've worked hard to get there. It's that struggle that you've had to push through, and you grow as a person. And it's the same with having a stripe or getting a belt.
So this contradicts what you're saying here, because you're saying I like to just have all that knowledge in my head.
No, I was being devil's advocate. I like the journey, and you make you make friends along the way, and you share things, and that's something that is amazing about human beings. Is that if you are just put into the same situation as another human being, you'll instantly work alongside them. So on a train full of people, no one gives a shit about each other. But if you took those same maybe 8 people in the block that you're in, the seats that you're in, and you were suddenly put into like an obstacle course race and they were like, look, you're still the same strangers, you've got to complete this. By the end of that, maybe an hour race or something like that, if it's only an hour, by the end of it, like, you'll be like congratulating each other. Well done, you went through the same thing as me.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think also the other thing that unites people is an adversary.
Yeah.
Like if a rival train came over, fuck that train, fuck those guys.
We're on this train.
Yeah, exactly.
We are this train.
Yeah. You do get that going into Waterloo sometimes, though, when two trains are coming and you think,
I always pull a face or something. Yeah, I love it. I'm 27 years old, and I'll wait until I see like quite a businesswoman or a businessman. As soon as that train starts moving and I'm on there, I'll never see that person again. I'll just put your tongue out, make like, and pull your ears. Something a grown man shouldn't do, right? You are not expecting a grown man to do that, and you just like that, and it makes me laugh. And hopefully,
it makes me laugh.
Yeah, I'm just shaking up their journey a little bit. You know, they've got something to think about. I've just knocked them out of their little comfort zone. You know, they might tell their friends about it. That could be the best thing that happened to them all day. Hilarious.
I didn't appreciate it when I was a kid when people did that. I would say wanker to cars. I had twice people get out of the car.
Well, when we threw snowballs at the cars, and when we were school kids, and then that white van stopped. We all
a friend of ours on snow day. It was a wonderful snow day. He threw a snowball through a moving white van's window. It was
hit the driver.
It couldn't have been better. It couldn't.
Did he pack? How did he go through? Did he pack it down so tight?
No, he didn't. No, it was the window was open. He was driving, and he just threw it, and it was like perfect timing. It went thump, and then it hit him in the face. And he just it was like screeched to a halt. We were all like 17. White van driver. Oi! Standard London child. Everyone scatter. So like, only one of you can get caught. Just scatter, and you just hope you're not the one that's getting chased.
Crazy days.
Meet at the Heath.
Yeah, crazy days.
Yeah, good times though. What is it Buteyko breathing?
Buteyko. Buteyko. Buteyko breathing. I think it was the guy who was either Russian or Ukrainian. I read that he's some doctor. I can't pronounce his first two names. From like 40s, 50s.
We'll call him Stevie B.
Stevie B. Buteyko breathing. It's. I'll tell you how I found out about it, and then kind of go from there. When I sleep, apparently, this is what the missus tells me, is I breathe really heavily.
Not the missus, What would be the correct term for the stage you're at the moment? Sorry, I can't believe I didn't bring this up.
We are living partners. We live partners. We live together.
That does make you sound like a same-sex couple.
Yeah. And what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm telling you what it makes it sound like. Don't try and get me in trouble.
Fiance. That's another story.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I feel like I wouldn't really know anyone at the wedding, so I should probably sit next to you, right? Yeah, sure, that's great. I thought about that one before. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Is that in your notes?
Yeah.
Buteyko breathing. Anyway, I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly. So my missus tells me that I breathe really heavily when I sleep. So I don't snore, but it's more through my nose.
Robert.
Just like
Baby,
that.
When you watch me sleep, you breathe really heavily.
And rub your legs as well at the same time, really fast. And she'd kind of keep waking me up, and it's not. You know what sleep apnea is? Sleep apnea is when you stop breathing during your sleep, or you find it hard, you struggle to take a breath, and you never quite wake up. You never get into a deep sleep.
That's so terrifying.
Yeah, it's horrible. I've had it once or twice on a plane, but because I'm sitting up sleeping, and it's not nice. And so anyway, she reckons it was. Yeah, it's annoying me. It's kind of it wakes me up at night and stuff. So I kind of looked into very. I'm just
to sleep in a different room.
Yeah. Actually, we do that on occasions because we've got spare beds.
Trouble in paradise.
And you go, how do you sleep? Yeah, brilliantly. I could get used to this.
And starfish.
So whenever I come across a problem, particularly with that my health or whatever, anything, my body, the mind, I jump on the internet. I like to read and kind of write. I'm going to solve this problem.
Oh yeah, no, I thought you were going to go somewhere else. Because when I'm stressed, I go straight to the internet. Boobs.com.
You explain this, Tom.
No, let's get back.
I'm sorry.
Back on topic. So after I've done that, then I'll then look for books. And anyway, I found this book called. I discovered this breathing method and thought, right, I'm going to get it. Read a couple of websites, looked good. Bagged it. Just ordered a couple of books off Amazon, £5 or £6 for 2 of them. And the idea is that you're breathing really heavily, and you're bringing on too much oxygen. And when you are breathing really heavily, it restricts your nostrils. It's like if you have a straw and you try to suck really hard to it, it pulls it in, and that's what's happening with the nostrils. And your body is so used and actually taught a lot of the time to breathe, take big breaths, take a big deep breath, but that is apparently not that good for your body, because what happens, a number of things. You over oxygenate your blood, and the ratio of carbon dioxide and oxygen in your blood, if it becomes too high with the oxygen, then you push out some of the carbon dioxide, and the molecules don't stick to your blood, and apparently it's not so good for you. When you actually breathe, your body actually only needs 25% of the oxygen that it takes in, so you could reduce your breathing by
75%.
By 70%. Thank you very much. And it kind of relaxes the body, and I think when you've got more oxygen in your blood to carbon dioxide, it kind of your brain becomes quite excitable as well. So it's linked to when you're quite stressed, you're thinking a lot. Your breathing is actually quite shallow and quite sharp, and you can take in a lot of oxygen in. So it's learning not only to kind of relax your breathing, which is quite a common thing actually. People say to breathe, but it's also saying taking a smaller breath, taking less oxygen, which is kind of contradicts what a lot of people tell you and teach you how to do. And I think the problem I get is because I've played so much sport that you do a lot of big breathing. When you really push yourself, and it's kind of, you have to take in.
You're too fit. You're too healthy. I have that problem all the time.
All the time. Because she doesn't get it right. She doesn't get it at all. She doesn't do any breathing exercises. She's generally, she works out and stuff. She's in good shape, but she doesn't meditate or work on her breathing. But then she has no problems with her breathing. I'm thinking, well, hang on, I'm fitter than you. Why am I getting this problem? And a lot of it is to do with, I think that's what the cause of it is for me. My body is so used to, from the exercise, taking in big quantities.
And so how do you do that? So what, you breathe shallowly before you go to sleep?
So that's one of the best times to do it, for about 20 minutes. What you do, the first kind of stage is just learning to reduce your breathing. So you'll just sit up. They say don't lie down, because one, if you get too relaxed, you're going to fall asleep. But also, I think when you relax, the diaphragm could have, the gravity kind of takes hold of it. It's a little bit harder to do the breathing exercises. So you kind of sit up in a good position, and the first thing you do is just leave your body relax. And naturally, by leaving your body relaxed, then your breathing is going to reduce, and then you relax kind of the stomach muscles, and the breathing will reduce again. But then you train yourself to take smaller and smaller breaths, and initially what will happen is your body will almost feel like it's gasping for air, like you're out of breath, because it's not used to it. But it's
like when you go swimming or whatever, and you hold your breath for ages, and like when I was a kid, I always remember you have a feeling you're really desperate for oxygen, and then you suddenly just relax, and then you realise you can do it for ages.
Exactly the same.
It's like the same thing. After like 30 seconds before you're thinking shit, and then suddenly you've like a plateau, and you can last for a long time.
And the books I've read say swimming is really, really good for it, and I do find that I've started to sleep a lot better, and it's a good way actually to relax. So you're not only just concentrating on your breathing, but you're reducing your breathing. It does actually bring your stress levels down. And if you meditate at the end of the night, and you actually feel really relaxed and have really kind of switched on. So it's a combination of meditating and concentrating on the breath, but taking it a step further and actually reducing the amount of oxygen in your brain as well. And it's really good actually. I find it. And maybe if you do it kind of when you masturbate, you're gonna get from it.
I'm so calm. Shallow breaths.
Yeah.
Just breathe through it.
It's cool though. It's pretty cool. Well, power naps apparently are really good for you, and that's a way that you can reduce that sleep and have.
I do that in the gym,
really?
In the sun bedroom.
Yeah.
Get a few towels, get a yoga mat, put the yoga mat on the sunbed so it's not cold.
There's people that they have
20-minute nap.
You have 2 sleeps.
Got to sometimes.
2 sleeps in the night, so you sleep for 3 hours, wake up, hour or so, then go back sleep.
Oh,
that was
really?
common a lot. Yeah, that was common for hundreds, thousands of years because people the fire would go out in the night. And even Shakespeare talks about it. It was, I can't remember what you talk about. People often chat that wake up in the night. So 3 a.m., 2 a.m. wake up for an hour or so. Often go back to sleep. Like when the sun comes up. That's normal for lots and lots and lots of. That's really common.
Still these days in some cultures.
Some people do that. Some people really find that really. Yeah, that's quite a natural way to sleep apparently.
No, if you wake me up in the middle of the night, I'll be annoyed.
Yeah,
I don't like
it. When you're used to it. Also, another thing I heard is people that do 20-hour days. So you change your cycle. So basically, you have 6 days that we have 6 sleep cycles a week. So it goes in sync. I'll look it up again. But you live like 28. So you. Over the course of it, maybe it's a bit less, maybe it's 18 hours, but basically it works like you have the same amount of hours it's just divided into, I think it is 20-hour cycles, so you're just
8 days in a week.
Basically you make 8 days a week, and so you've got just more waking time.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
but you can't do that in the Western world. That's the problem, isn't it? It's do it with
creating your own days.
I call this Blue Day.
My day off. If you've
got weekend again.
If you've got a 9-to-5 job as well, you're really restricted to that, aren't you? Like getting up at certain times and just
I would love 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I do 6:30 until like 9 at the moment.
But you sleep in the sunbed all day.
Still about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm joking.
And I come out brown as a berry.
Do you sleep in the sunbed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like not with it on. I do. I mean, I have a cheeky sunbed every now and then.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I have power naps in the toilet. Didn't work.
Wow.
Is that because you push too hard and you pass out? We've got a friend who has panic attacks.
All the blood's gone.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it typically happens in the afternoon when you just feel like,
this is Laurence Griffiths, who works for...
No.
He's sleeping in the toilet.
We can beat those out anyway. I used to work for a company called AO Service, which is a catering company. I used to work at a catering company, and I was doing big events at like old markets, whatever, or the Royal Courts of Justice, and there'd be like the Brit Awards, Earls Court, so there'd be events with like over 1,000 staff, or sometimes 200 staff, or whatever. And it was a job. It was a good job. It was very flexible. A lot of hot, posh girls, which was my main reason for doing the job. But there were so many staff that they couldn't take count. I would just go upstairs and sleep in toilets for 2-3 hours at a time.
Get paid for it. They come downstairs and then eat all their food.
I'm happy because at your service, if you're listening, I used to do that, and I also used to nick money for cabs. I used to get a cab driver to write more money to the receipt, and then you'd pay me that, you bastards. They were arseholes. They were all absolute arseholes. It was slave labour, and I used to nick booze as well. And also one time there was
this is the last time we're gonna have this podcast with Tom.
They never found out who it was.
Did he be arrested?
I was a barman quite often in the job, and it was make a bar on this is in Earls Court, no, not Earls Court, Hampton Court Palace. Working at Hampton Court Palace. John Prescott was there, and I was breaking down the bar, and we were taking all the water bottles and filling them with vodka, right? Because we were allowed to take water.
Yeah.
But we mixed up some of the bottles. So I'd taken a bottle of vodka home, fine, like a water bottle full of vodka. But the next day they'd used some of the bottles and they were pouring it out for the guests. And somebody just got served a glass of straight vodka. And they realised what had happened. They'd worked out that someone had been doing that. But obviously they never worked out it was me. Yeah.
But you know what, I tell you, Prescott probably didn't mind.
Yeah, he loved it.
He looks like a kind of guy that could take
just
straight
knocked
vodka.
it
Smelled of a
back.
fight.
He smelled like a fight.
Yeah, man. He looked like he was up for it. It was not. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Always. Was he
the one that punched someone that threw an egg at him?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
like a Bose.
Yeah, it was good, man. Good egging, good punch.
Talking about punches, I watched. Is it UFC 158?
It was the last one, wasn't it?
With the Kyle Sonnen and John Jones. I'd watched that fight.
Shale Sonnen, Kyle
Shale Sonnen. Anyway.
Yeah. Why would you watch him?
Well, I was watching. I was just in last night, and I hadn't watched the other.
Yeah.
I hadn't watched the other fight, so I was just kind of chilling out at home. Put it on, and then watched the Roy Big Country Nelson and Czech Congo fight.
Yeah.
and right, if you, I don't know, you don't watch that much
Congo, I don't watch much, but I do know.
Check Congo. You look at Check Congo with his top off. He's
ripped.
A monster.
Yeah,
and he's massive.
Yeah.
And then Roy Big Country Nelson is no disrespect to him.
Yeah,
he looks like
the embodiment of racism.
He looks like a fat fuck, right? He looks like a fat fuck. He looks like out of shape.
Yeah.
And if you saw him down the street, you'd be like, yeah, what are you going to do in a fight situation?
Yeah.
And he is known for knocking people out, but I'm thinking, okay, Czech Congo is also, he's a machine. He's a bit of a machine as well. And it's about 2-3 minutes in, and he throws this punch, and Roy Big Country Nelson, and it's the way he throws a punch. He kind of, his hand comes from behind him like he's throwing a cricket ball, almost like he's bowling a cricket ball, like a flail. And he leans his head forward, and his arm comes forward, just stretched out in front of him like Superman. It's like a Superman punch almost, with both feet on the ground.
It's a huge overhand right that he throws.
Haymaker.
It's so much leverage. There's so much power.
It's like the power. Every muscle from the bottom of his toes right through to his fingertips, and all his weight is driving through his fist, and he hits Czech Congo and he goes bang down against the fence, and
in the head. The money shot.
Behind
the ear, wasn't it?
Actually,
like exactly
half on the neck. It's half on the neck and half on the jaw, and he goes down.
It's
and then
here behind this bit here, which is one of the most dangerous places. That's knockout.
And Czech Congo hits the fence, goes down, and then Czech Congo runs in and just goes. Okay, to be fair, he doesn't go out straight away, and then he can one more haymaker, as he's kind of on his arse, and then he's out. What a legend! I couldn't believe it. The guy's an absolute animal.
Yeah,
absolute animal.
Really
he is a really odd specimen. He won. He won the Ultimate Fighter
Series 10, I think it was.
So if you watch Series 10 is awesome.
You're talking about the Big Country?
Big Country, yeah. So Series 10 is awesome because it is Rashad Evans versus Quinton Rampage Jackson. Alright, so two really stereotypical like black American athletes cussing each other, hate each other. Oh man, I'm gonna knock you out so bad you got the stanky leg kind of thing. Also, that is the tough season that what's his name? You introduced me to him, the Street Fighter. Kimbo was on it, right? So
my bread, fool.
This is pretty much, and so that's when. So you see Kimbo, and I remember like he was the first pick, and like they were like, "Damn man, I want Kimbo, my man, Kimbo." What? Roy Big Country Nelson just beat the living daylights out of him.
The Kimbo slice.
And Kimbo slice, and like Quentin Rampage Jackson was he just kept telling call him fat. Yeah. He wouldn't talk to him. We were like, I'm not talking to you. You're not a real fighter, kind of thing. You're fat. Look at you. You're a mess. And Roy Nelson doesn't care. He laughs about it. He'll like squeeze his boob, like
so
at him. Yeah, just be like, rub his belly, and he still does that today. So when he jumps up onto the cage when he wins, he points at Dana White, who's the president of the UFC. They don't get on very well, and he provokes everyone, and he would just rub his belly, stick his finger in his belly button, like but loads of people love him because he is the people thinking if he can
very quickly interject. I saw a video on it the other day of somebody in India his belly button was so full of dirt since he was a child that this guy basically popped it and a little thing. Like it was like a plug came out. It was really satisfying. But
lovely.
Sorry, carry on.
But so he won that and beating the likes of people that you'd think were much more physically intimidating and good fighters. But he's like a Brazilian black belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt of a really high caliber. Else is he? And I've never seen him use it because he's just got that right overhand that knocks people out.
So what is this? A slugger?
Technically they call him a kung fu fighter.
Is that taking the piss?
I don't know, maybe.
Is he legit a kung fu fighter?
He can throw high kicks. You don't know. He can throw a high kick and hit your head. I mean, you just don't. He can do the full box split. It's so mad.
It's so at odds with what
he could fight at middleweight. If he lost body fat, he'd be middleweight because he's like 5'9" or something. As well.
6 foot.
6 foot is he?
He's 6 foot.
I don't know. He just looks because he's in the heavyweight division. All the other people are like 6'3".
Yeah.
So like he looks small, and he does not get knocked out.
Yeah.
He has got an iron chin. Like it's outrageous.
Where's he from?
Somewhere in America. He is American, yeah. But he's got a mullet, a big beard.
I can't remember how I saw it, but I came across some Kimbo fights again.
Some fight slices.
Yeah, some Kimbo fight slices. And it's just, he can't fight, like, he was good at a certain
Brawling.
thing. He got discovered that way, and then he can't cut it, can't do anything. And people only pay now to see him just knock out nobodies.
Yeah.
That's his career.
Yeah.
Well, he
They
started
feed him.
MMA when he's about 36 or 37.
That's
And
true, yeah.
The fight you see him in when he's like, it's quite funny when he's asking for his bread, isn't he?
Yeah, no, it's hard to eat. I remember that.
Bread.
I remember that's sticking in my brain when I was a young lad.
But they're quite nasty fights, actually, aren't they?
It's bare knuckle brawling for money.
It's horrible,
in the street.
and you can see.
When he dislocates the man's eye,
Is that what happens?
there is one where a man's eye is fallen out,
that's
and
true,
because he's punched his eye out.
Good.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to call him a
pretty
pussy
rough.
though. I'd love to call him a slap.
Take him down, mate. I'll submit him
I just call him a
as long as he doesn't get top control or throw any punches.
Do you know what?
Actually, I did watch the video, the vlog, video blog of the last UFC, and Nate Diaz, who is the younger of the two, super talented. But the Diaz brothers are known for just talking shit.
Yeah.
Like, they will get under your skin. They're just scrappers. They'll talk, and they talk shit in the ring during the fight with their hands down. They'll taunt you. They want basically they force you to get emotional and make errors through that way. But he got knocked out. It's the first time he's ever been knocked out, and he got legitimately knocked out by this other bloke, and he looked like his face was messed up. The other guy looked beautiful. He's actually a very good looking fighter, the other guy, and just looked fine, and knocked Nate Diaz out.
Watched that?
Yeah, I think so.
We watched that.
Knocked him out. But on the video log you see what happens afterwards, and so as he's getting a bit stitched up and stuff, even after that, like, he's watching himself get knocked out, and he's going, man, he hits like a bitch, and you're like, you got knocked out by that punch. Like, you can't have, But they'll never back down. Those people will never lose any self-respect because they just like live in this dream world.
Yeah.
It's the same as it was the same as his brother when he fought GSP. Like, he got dominated by GSP. He did get dominated by GSP, and at the end he was just going, he's a little bitch. And he was like, but you just got beat by that little bitch.
He was inferring that, everything I threw at him, he had an answer for. I was gonna try and work submissions from a turtle guard, I think is what he said. But he seemed to know what I was doing. He was almost like he was inferring that he had some kind of spy in his camp that was giving GSP information. That was the undertone of it.
There is no way that these guys could possibly beat me if everything was fair. That's how they think. You know what I mean? It's like they punch like bitches. There must be someone in the camp, or I don't understand how he knew everything. It's because GSP's the champion for a reason.
Do you think there's much fixing in UFC?
No, I really don't. I don't think there's a lot of fixing. There are controversial things that go on.
Do you remember me and you being stoned talking about Zidane?
No, I've never been stoned.
Zidane saying
the footballer.
I was saying that I reckon that he probably is paid to whatever the World Cup final he came out, and he's got a history of really high profile red cards in really important games.
When he headbutted the guy in the chest.
Yeah.
Bon anniversaire.
Yeah, and I reckon that's all because for example, he supported the World Cup in Dubai. He's not really French; he's Algerian. He's like, he supported Dubai in France. It's a big deal that he supported the Dubai World Cup bid, not France. And he's obviously pretty mercenary. He's not. Anyway, sorry. That just.
Yeah, I don't think.
Is there any like?
There's never been a question. It's not like boxing really, because
why not? I was just saying that. I was thinking, what's the difference?
Well, because it's a company, right? The UFC is a company. Okay, it's not, boxing is not a company.
That's true. I guess.
Right. So UFC is a company run by the Fertitta brothers, who own it. Who are incredibly successful, like billionaire businessmen in America, and then Dana White, who is the president, and so all deals go through one team. Okay, so the only people that
so rich,
so rich. Okay, and it's So it's all through one company, and the fights are put together by that company as well. And there's one main guy, and then he's probably got a team, and they decide who fights who. There's there's obviously the basis of if you've got 4 wins under your belt, you'll probably be eligible to fight the champion. But they put those fights together. Now, you earn more money by making yourself either a liked name. So someone like Chael Sonnen, Dan Hardy, they might not win a lot. They win some, they lose some, right? But they're marketable. So if they are put on a pay-per-view, that pay-per-view will sell a lot because people want to see them fight because they like them. So that's how you get your money. Or you win loads, which makes you marketable because you're a champion, and then also because you get sponsorships by like Zions, Tap Out, all of this stuff. There's your money, and then you get the pay-per-view, and you get win bonuses. There are win bonuses. So if you win, I think the win bonus is like 70 grand. So if you're getting paid 10 grand for a fight, you win, you get 80 grand. Also, if then you get that knockout of the night, you get another 70 grand. So if you work hard, he gives out loads of money for subs of the night.
Really?
Knockouts of the night.
10 grand for sub of the night.
It's a lot of money. I think it used to be like that, but now they're so much richer. They put up, you really, because he wants that, right? Because if you're going for a knockout rather than going the distance.
People pay to
if you're going, so it's more exciting. So he's going to get more money because more people are going to like the sport, and they want that sport to grow. That's it, and it is growing. And so I don't know how much money you would make throwing a match compared to if you really tried to win it. And also, these people have put so much time, blood, sweat and tears into getting there.
For all of that argument is one.
But it's almost like, but with UFC, it's more like a tournament. If you beat this guy, then you get to fight this guy, and you beat that guy, then you get a shot at this title. If you lose, then you've got to win 4 again. So if you've won 3 in a row, you might need that 4th under your belt so that you get a title fight. If you won 3 in a row and then you lose 1, you kind of go back to square one. And you've got to work, and you've got to get those better wins under your belt again. And that's and it's not the same in boxing. Boxing is just, a lot of boxing is literally just, I've made a deal, I'm fighting you. Like, okay, someone might have a belt, but it's this big deal. You're getting paid this huge amount of money just for this one fight, regardless of whether you win or lose. You might not, and you might never fight again anyway. I'm just trying to think,
because in sumo they have a problem with boxing because the sport is. I can't remember what the problem is, but there is a way that you have situations where it doesn't matter for much if one person loses a fight, but it matters a lot if the one wins. So, and they're all in the camp together. So you have sort of situations where it just happens, right? There's
it's like tactical.
And then I was just trying to work out if there's any situation in UFC where it would make sense for people to do that. And let's say, for example,
there's no advantage for losing.
But what about if you have someone that's got they have no win streak and they're fighting someone that's got a 3-win streak? That situation would be the person that has no.
Are you saying that their camp might pay the other guy? Be like, look, I need this 4th win so I can get.
I'm just trying to think of a situation where because you're saying that
the situation could be there, but I very very much doubt. Because there's,
it would only ever be monetary. I think it would only ever be if someone paid the other person, would there be an advantage to losing?
But it would have to be enough money to make that camp. And when I say camp, it's your training camp. It's your manager. It's so as a manager, if someone said, look, I will pay you some money for your guy to lose, can you please make sure he loses? As a manager, I'd think, well, this is like the pinnacle of mixed martial arts competition. Do I want people to think I'm not a good trainer for 50 grand when if this guy wins this, then some other big names might come over to me because I've just proved that I can train this guy to the ability to beat this guy who's on a winning streak. And so is that 50 grand going to be enough to, or if this guy wins, that's gonna set me up for the rest of my life. That's gonna say that I'm good enough I've trained this guy, I'm gonna get other people into my camp. No one wants to be part of this. Is a competition. No one wants to be part of a losing team because you can't sell a losing team.
Maybe there's also if you flip it on the other side, that maybe there's not enough money in winning it justify paying someone to help you win it unless you're gambling, unless you're putting a big bet on something.
But then
the thing is, the odds are so well. It doesn't necessarily mean about the odds, does it? When it comes to sports betting, boxing, the odds would be very similar as well.
But you know, this is all speculation. There's no way we can find out. But I think it is less likely in UFC. The big things are things like testosterone replacement therapy at the moment, because that is a form of cheating that has somehow been made okay for now. So the guy fighting tonight, Vitor Belfort, he started fighting in UFC 20 years ago. No, not 20 years ago. Not 20 years. Ridiculous. When he was 19, he won like UFC 19 or something like that. Like when it was still a tournament. He's like old school because he was so young when he started, and he has been found out to do steroids. You know, if you look at his career, how his body shape changes drastically over different years, and suddenly now at his oldest he seems to be the most ripped he's ever been, and the most kind of athletic, and he's saying it's because he's changed up his diet and this that, but he is on testosterone replacement therapy.
Is he really?
He only really fights in Brazil, and I think he fights in places that don't test you as regularly, so he doesn't fight in like Nevada and stuff like that.
He's 36.
Yeah, he's 36, and he is the most powerful he's ever been. And there's no way you can do that if you've been fighting, you know, since you were like 19. So he's on testosterone replacement therapy, and there's a loophole with that, and that is cheating. That's how people cheat.
What's the loophole?
The loophole is that you can't just take testosterone, you can't take steroids, you can't, you know, take there's loads of banned substances, but if you get a medical reason for taking testosterone replacement therapy because your testosterone is unnaturally low due to a medical condition, hypogonadism is that is a legitimate reason for testosterone replacement therapy. However, the reason why these guys have low testosterone is because of the abuse of steroids in the past. And so why should they get given this?
The claim that they make, and this is a legitimate reason, maybe not necessarily a legitimate claim. If you get a lot of head trauma, that can impact your testosterone levels. So if you're fighting, you're getting hit in the head. But how many people use that as an excuse or not?
Loads. That's it. Like, you know, there are these little things, and so these guys can walk into a fight, and they'll have higher testosterone levels than like a 21-year-old. And they've got the experience.
Play the devil's advocate though. How much of that do you think is because they've probably got some of the best nutrition in the world? They would do a lot of strength and conditioning, a lot of muscle mass, all of which do boost testosterone levels. So
not to the levels that these guys have been found out with, like
Uberim.
Yeah, when he was like 18-1, when the normal accepted level was like 3-1.
Do you know what Alistair Overeem is? I had to show you a photo before.
This is what I should look like. Alistair Overeem is
like
a very.
I've not really followed his career, and I've only known about him since he's become big, in both senses of the word. He used to be a kickboxer in.
He's a K1 champion. He's a Dutch
fighting Japan.
Dutch guy. So I eat a lot of horse meat, very lean, some shark.
Breast milk.
I go into the water. I kill the shark with my hands.
He used to be about. In good shape, right? You can see
he used to fight middleweight in kickboxing, and then turned up as a super heavyweight.
Yeah, he was about 205 pounds.
Always walks around at like 5% body fat, but is like 256 pounds of muscle.
Wow.
Which was funny good before.
I don't know. Was that like it's outrageous?
Yeah, it's massive. It's like 100.
But he was supposed to be fighting for a UFC title. He got found out to have outrageously high testosterone.
That's how big he is next to Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar is an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah, big boys.
But he makes Brock Lesnar look normal when he's going to stand in next to him there. And I'll find a photo. And this is a photo of him when he's younger.
A photo of him,
Yeah, normal. And different skin colour.
yeah, that happens. But he's a massive man, and then he got found out to have loads of this stuff, and and everyone says like you must be on steroids, and he's like, I'm the most tested athlete in the world because no one believes that I got this naturally. He gets found out to have this super high rate of testosterone in his body. He goes away. He has a 6-month ban. The ban gets lifted after a while. He has another fight. He's tested clean. He's clearly smaller than he was when he tested positive.
Yeah.
And he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that little edge that he may have had. Now, I think he got knocked out. I think he got knocked out because he got really cocky, and he actually was a much better fighter than this other guy, Bigfoot Silver. He was owning him until he got really cocky, and he got hit in the face by another giant. It doesn't matter if you're a better fighter, that when a giant hits you, Bigfoot Silver, I think, has giantism.
He's look at it like actually his
he's got the giant face.
You look like I'd be I'd be scared to punch him. Look like I'd break my hand on his face.
Yeah, he looks like
all the guys that the Chinese giant guys, they've got the kind of same.
That's not the best photo of him.
No, he doesn't looks like Andre the Giant. Yeah,
that's not the best. They've caught him kind of mid-speech and his eyes are half closed.
He does look, weird. Well, should we start to wrap this up?
Yeah, I think it's been a nice one.
Yeah,
it's another kind of disjointed.
I just wanted to. Yeah, it's always gonna be like that, and we'll try and chop it up a bit. But in the car on the way here, I don't know if you noticed, but I spilled some egg on my trousers.
I didn't think it was egg, so I didn't bring it up.
Yeah, and I was thinking about eggs in the car on the way here. I was thinking, yeah, of course, egg does share some viscosity properties with seminal fluid. They do look similar in some ways. Then I thought, how does obviously, so it must just be like normal spunk egg, like eggs like chicken or cockerel spunk. But how does it get into the egg? There's a shell.
Right, I think that we should leave that open to any listener. If you can explain to Tom how the semen that gets into an egg, and then also break down.
It's a shell.
Yeah, but also break down how it's not semen and
what it must be. Why do they shag otherwise? It's not like insects. They have some of them have drill dicks. They actually drill in. Some beetles they drill their own vagina into the thing like a corkscrew dick. But that doesn't happen.
We can't stop this podcast now. We have to discuss drill dicks.
Yeah, they really exist. They drill them.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
On that bombshell or eggshell, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. Well done. Bye bye.
Bye.